Last year, February, I started my motorcycle from my hometown in Kochi, Kerala, in southern India. I was working, but as it was work from home, I had this opportunity to take my bike. This is my motorcycle. It is a Royal Enfield Himalayan 2021 model. This is the motorcycle which carried me across the nation. So on February, I decided that instead of sitting at home and working, I can make use of this time and work from anywhere in the country, in India. So I started. I didn't knew that, or to be honest, when I started, I didn't believe that I'm going to cover the whole nation and come back. But I did it. It took me 7 months because I had to stay at every place for at least 5 days because I had to work. You cannot travel every day and carry your laptop and stuff around and work, right? I can say that it was difficult, not just because I was alone or not just because I had so many issues with my motorcycle, but I had to work. I had to attend meetings. So, as always, from my home in Kochi, I went to Bangalore, where at that time my very close friend was there. I was staying with her for a week and I was working. So Bangalore is not a place that Bangalore is not a place which is new for me, because even right now I'm in Bangalore. This is the city I live in for the last 9 years. From Bangalore, I had two options: to go through the right side, that coast of India, Bay of Bengal, through Andhra, Odisha, West Bengal, or to go through the left side, through Goa, Maharashtra coastline. I was confused. I didn't know which side should I take. I took the left side because I still remember it was a Monday from Bangalore when I started, and then there was a strike going on in Andhra. So I thought, let's don't wait for one more day and start the journey and go through Goa. From Bangalore, I still remember the trees were all, it was February, right? So in Bangalore during February, March time, I don't know the name of that tree around the streets, these pink flowers will bloom, and it was so beautiful. I still remember that day. I went to Gokarna. I knew that it is going to be so hot in Gokarna because I've been to Gokarna before, but it is a beautiful, beautiful place. You can sit in the cliff and work and see the ocean below. I mean, of course, there are many places like that, but Gokarna is very beautiful. So from Bangalore, I went to Gokarna. I am so thankful that I went to Gokarna because I met some people who are still very close to me from Gokarna. Yeah. So yeah, in Gokarna, of course, I spent 1 week, but there was a problem because before 100 kilometers of reaching Gokarna, I remember a guy in a taxi car applied his brake suddenly because he wanted to take a U-turn. There was no reminder. There was another guy, and his wife most probably was going behind him. They hit the car and I was behind them. I hit the guy on the bike. I didn't fall down, but the jerry can on the right side of my bike, I still remember, it was broken, and my right side leg got jammed between that bike and my motorcycle. And I remember I reached Gokarna that night with a big bulb on my legs, and for the next 3 days the pain started unfolding, and I even wanted to go back to Bangalore. I thought, I cannot do this. It was too much pain. I was not able to walk. I was not even able to go from my hostel world in Gokarna to the place where they serve food. So I called my friend in Bangalore and she told me, what's the point of coming back? Go to a hospital in Gokarna and go to a hospital there instead of riding all the way back to Bangalore. And that is what I did. And thanks to her, Because of that, I did that. Because of her, I did that, and I got to continue my journey. And after 4 days of staying in hostel world, I made the best decision of going to hostel it, which is another hostel. It was a good decision because I met the Bali there. She is an amazing person. She's still my friend. Usually I don't keep these friendships, not intentionally, it just never happens to me, but with her I'm still a friend, which is amazing. So I met her and some other guys, and from Gokarna I went to Pune. I stayed with Kamlesh. He's a guy who have traveled all across India and Nepal and Bhutan, I guess, on a CD Deluxe. It's comparatively a small bike, but it is possible, and he proved it. I stayed in his flat. What a kind-hearted person! I will never forget him. And I still remember he was crying that day, saying that, bro, even after completing the journey, see, he was showing me his WhatsApp messages and all. He's a very lonely person, I know that, because the way he was speaking. And he told me, see bro, I have these many friends, but nobody is even congratulating me, even after I posted my status and all many times. It was so sad, but what an amazing person he is. And he did it all India, Nepal and even Bhutan on that motorcycle. It was a good night with him. He bought food and all, and it was a nice place. Pune is amazing. I will never forget that city. He took me whole night through the city, and maybe because it was a night, it was such a wonderful place. I will go again, hopefully someday. And from Pune, even though he told me many times not to go to Bombay, I went because I wanted to go to Bombay, because I never been to Bombay. I have read about Bombay in Shantaram, the book. It is one of my favorite books, so I wanted to see those places which was mentioned in the book through my eyes. So I went, and I again met Diwali there. She was working there, and that one night we took 4 bicycles, and 4 of us were riding around in Bombay. A night that I will never forget. And I like the charm of that city. I think any city is beautiful and different at night. So if you like to see city without much traffic and still enjoy the city, take a bicycle and ride around the city. It was a beautiful night in Bombay. I stayed in hostel in Bombay. It was a very congested hostel, but there also I met some people who, for example, Gogul, he helped me in the same trip when I was in Shillong and I had some problems. He's the one who helped me to get out of that. See, that is how this is actually, I think, that is when I realized the help of social media and making and keeping friendships. Just because I put my problem out there in social media for a specific Instagram, he saw that and he contacted me and he helped me. So yeah, I had to turn this off. So Zosel was fun, and I don't remember her name. She's also one of my, okay, leave it. And Ruby, I met her. She's from Gujarat. I met her in Bombay's hostel. She is also a good friend now. From Maharashtra, I entered Gujarat, and I got my first puncture in Gujarat. I already have a bad memory of getting a puncture in Nadala Pass in Silk Road in Sikkim 2 months before that. But that puncture I got in Vadodara in Gujarat was so dangerous that my bike slid to one side in the highway, and Vadodara, that side, those highways are full of big container lorries all the time. I still remember the face of that lady sitting behind as a pillion on the motorcycle in front of me. Her eyes were opened up in fright. I mean, she was frightened. Seeing me sliding, that is when I realized the intensity of what I am going through. But somehow I got to stop my bike on the left side, even without falling down. I'm not saying It is my skill, but I don't know how. I didn't fall down. It took me again 3 to 4 hours, I remember, to solve that problem. But little did I knew that this is going to be just the first time in this trip that I'm going to get stuck by the road. It happened so many times. That night I had to stay in Gujarat. Even though I didn't have any intention to stop there, I had to reach Rajasthan, but Gujarat wanted me to stay, I guess. So I stayed there in a little oil room, and the next day morning I went to Udaipur. Udaipur is a place that I've been to already in 2019, but this time in a motorcycle I enjoyed the gullies. I didn't know that Udaipur had so many gullies, and that is the day I realized how hot it is in Rajasthan. I had to stop my motorcycle every 20 kilometers because my head was spinning. Inside the jacket, gloves, everything, it was too much. The sun was killing me. Those days I remember wishing that, oh my god, I should have gone with someone else, even though it was just temporary because I like to travel alone. But Udaipur was beautiful. There was this guy, I was staying in his hostel. There was this guy with a small shop in front of his hostel making art out of anything. He was drawing whatever he likes on old postcards. I don't remember his name. He have an Instagram page as well. I stayed in his house for 2 nights. I stayed in his house, even though my things were in hostel. He invited me to his house, and I had lunch, dinner, everything. They have a small kid. His wife and mom were so sweet, and their house was so authentic Rajasthan house. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful, and at the same time it was too hot. But I remember every evening I used to go out of the hostel and sit in front of that lake, Pachula. I don't remember the name of that lake. There were a lot of birds coming from distant places to build their nest there and go back after the babies are big. Udaipur is so beautiful, man. But I left Udaipur after a week, and if I remember right, I went to Chandigarh or Delhi. I think I went to Chandigarh. Yeah, I was in Chandigarh for 1 week, but it was kind of. I'm not a big fan of that place because it is a very calculated, planned city. It is beautiful, but I didn't enjoy much. But still, I got to walk around the city, and more than that, the place I stayed was kind of a little weird because there was only one hostel. I don't remember the name of that hostel, and that guy was. I was the only one who was staying in that hostel, and there were so many restrictions that you cannot go out at night. I really like to go out at night and walk around in these new places alone and talk with some people, not late night. And this guy was not even allowing me to use the washroom when I want. One day I remember I was about to go to the washroom and he came suddenly running and said, hey, I'll go first. The owner I'm talking about. It was weird. I changed my room after 3 days to a small oil room, and it was so congested. But I managed because all these places that I stay, I have to work also, right? It is not just I'm riding and reaching there and enjoying. I have to work. I was doing 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. That is why I said after 7, 8 p.m. I used to go out, have dinner and walk around. It was a relief from work as well. It was very difficult to manage work, especially those days. From Chandigarh, I went to Bir Billing. The first time I experienced Himachal Pradesh. It was beautiful, man. That was not the first time I was witnessing snow. I have done that in Sikkim, and there was a lot of snowfall in Sikkim. There was no snowfall in Bir Billing, but Dharamshala was nearby, and in Bir I met some amazing people. I met Shreya. She's a musician. I learned a lot from her within 1 day because she's the one who taught me the tricks to play music instruments, especially guitar. She is a professional musician on her own, of her own. Oh, what is that? On her own. Yeah. So, yeah, Shreya, that was amazing. I stayed there 1 week. I walked around through those villages. It was beautiful. Even though I regret not going to Dharamshala, I stayed in Bear Building for 2 weeks. I extended my stay for one more week. And I can really say that my motorcycle has also enjoyed staying there. It's such a beautiful state Himachal is. But work was little tricky because I had to change my hostel one day because I forgot to extend my stay and I was on work. In between I had to carry everything, then I had a meeting going on. But I managed it. The time in Himachal was good and it was too cold. From Himachal I went to Punjab. No. Oh god, I think I said the opposite. Of course, from Rajasthan I went to Delhi. I stayed in Delhi for a week, right? No, not for a week, for 2 days because I had to reach Chandigarh. Yeah, Delhi, Chandigarh, and from there I went to Bir Billing. Correct. So yes, from Bir Billing, after 2 weeks I went to Jammu. Before that, the time that I ride from Udaipur to Delhi, I met Mani. He was riding from Kanyakumari to Kashmir on his Harley Davidson. He stopped me in between and we were talking. And he told me, if you're coming to Jammu, call me. He's the one who helped me to find the roads, easy roads and all from Bir to Jammu. And that one night I stayed in his house in Jammu with his family and his kid. He is amazing. I hope he's doing good. And he have a beautiful wife and a family. I stayed with them overnight and he told me many things that I cannot say out, but I will always carry inside me. What a wonderful person he is. From Jammu I went to Kashmir. I was in Jammu only for one night, but I used to see these guys in YouTube doing stunt riding and all in Jammu in a very dangerous way. The moment I reached Jammu, it was one evening I remember, I saw these guys doing the same thing. Not the same guys, but I understood one of the most mad bike riders in India are there. I'm not saying that in a wrong way because it requires skill, but it is too dangerous. Then I went to Kashmir. This is something, from Kerala, from where I'm coming from, where I am hailing. There are a lot of guys who do Kerala to Kashmir trip or Ladakh. So when I reached almost Kashmir, that is when I actually realized how far I have come from my home. I reached Kashmir from my hometown, Kochi. It was a realization which it took me time to consume what exactly is happening. And on the way I remember there were this army men standing on the highway on the median every 100 meters I guess, and many of them told me, they were all motivating me, but the thing is you cannot stop for so long in those highways. There is this one hilly region, I don't remember the name. Of course there are long beautiful tunnels there. Hats off to the people who made it. I think BRO, Border Roads Organization, they are the one who constructed it. This hilly region is there. I got stuck there for 3-4 hours while I was riding from Jammu to Kashmir. But after that, roads are beautiful, so wide until you reach Srinagar. In Srinagar, I stayed in hostel. To be honest, I didn't knew that there are a lot of power cut problems in Kashmir. This hostel was nearby Shalimar Gardens, near Dal Lake, but I remember every 1 hour the power will go. Then it was very difficult for me to manage work, but it was Kashmir, man. What a beautiful place. This guy, I don't remember his name again. He's from Kerala. I was riding around with him in my bike for 2-3 days. We went to Pahalgam, Sonamarg, heavenly places. Cannot express in words. I'll try to put some photos. I spent almost 1 week in Kashmir, and then these guys, group of travelers from Kerala, came from Kerala. They were going to Ladakh. So from Kashmir, to Ladakh, I went with them. I kept all my laptop and everything in my hostel. Hostel itself. I went with them, and Ladakh was beyond imaginations. It was, yeah, it was what you were anticipating. It was exactly beautiful as what you see in YouTube videos, beyond our vision. Beautiful, beautiful place. I will go again to Ladakh, but one thing I realized when I was in Ladakh was the crowd, the number of people who are going to those places. Like we say in Mount Everest, even though it is the top of the world, there is a traffic jam, right? I had to face a lot of traffic jam on the way to Ladakh. There were 6 people with me on bike, but it was fun. From Ladakh, they all went to Himachal, but I had to come back to Kashmir because my things were there. So after coming back to Kashmir, I have to come all the way through Himachal again. I couldn't go to Uttarakhand. I came back to Himachal, and that is how I entered Uttar Pradesh. Yes, Lucknow, not Lucknow, Agra. I was in Agra for a week, and that is where I met Narayan again. A person that I will always be carrying in me. The person who was with me in Sikkim, a kind-hearted, wonderful human being. He was riding a 1984 model ESD all across India when we met in Sikkim. Then I went home. Then again when I started my all India ride, I met him. We were planning to meet in between, and we met in Agra. It was so hot in Agra at that time, but Taj Mahal and all we explored together. 1 week in Agra was good, even though the weather was extreme. I got to spend a lot of time with him, talk a lot with him. Then I met Vennala as well. She's from Andhra. Yeah, she's a wonderful person. We met for only one night, I guess, we 3. Then he left. Then me and Vennala was there for a week. 1 day. But with some people, you don't need much time to connect, and you know that you are going to be their friend, or at least a contact, at least for a while. She was like that. I still have contacts with her. She is a very good person with a lot of dreams and aspirations. I remember she had a dream of starting a restaurant with her sister and family. I hope she will achieve that. She will do that. From Agra, I went to Varanasi. I knew that I'm going to Varanasi because this place I've been to before. I had other options, but I didn't want to skip Banaras. It's a place I love from inside, maybe because of the crowd, crazy crowd, but the peace that you feel even though you're in the middle of that crowd. It's such a beautiful place, Banaras is. But on the way from Agra to Banaras, I remember I took the expressway, Lucknow expressway, I guess, and I had this same issue that I had in Rajasthan. My head started spinning in between 2-3 times. I got food poison. I had to stop in between and take a room at night. I don't even remember the place name. It was crazy. Oh my god, it was so tough for me that night. I wanted to leave everything and be at my home with my mom, but I knew I cannot leave my motorcycle, which took me all the way to Ladakh from my hometown. So I knew that even if I die, I'm not going to leave my motorcycle. I will be continuing my journey with my motorcycle. And I took leave that day for the first time, or second or third time I took leave to go to Ladakh as well. And yeah, somehow I reached Varanasi, and that was such a relaxation. I didn't go out much. That is a place I've been to before, again in 2019. I was staying in my hostel, having food and working for 1 week because I knew that I'm sick and I have to take care of myself. And it was some tough 1 week for me because it was very difficult to communicate with people. It was so hot. I had to manage my work. It was difficult, but at the same time, those are the days when I realized that there are no limits in what you can do and manage. Even when you are sick, if you know that there is no other option, there is no help, you will fight for yourself. If it was not for my motorcycle, I remember I would have left it and fly back home, but I didn't wanted to. I had to take my bike also and do what I started, or finish what I started. So those were the days in Uttar Pradesh. It was fun. In Varanasi, I met this couple from Delhi, I guess. I got very close with them, and one of them there were some issues in their family. They had to fly back, leaving their car there. They were traveling in car. It was good sitting in Banaras on those ghats, just looking at the people, the life, the day turning into night, the other banks, the architecture, the birds. There are millions of birds there. They are all nesting on the buildings behind us when we are sitting in the ghats. The pujas, the boats, so many varieties and kinds of people, birds, animals, cows, goats. It is such a beautiful place, man. There is peace in that ma'am. That is what I love about Benares. Place I know that if possible I'll go again and again and again. From Uttar Pradesh, I went to Bodh Gaya in Bihar. Bihar, to be honest, that one morning when I was crossing Bihar, I don't know where, it was nearby Bodh Gaya somewhere. Instead of taking the main national highway, this Google Maps was suggesting me to take the in roads. I remember it was one beautiful morning. The sun was rising. I was inside that village. It was a state highway which goes through inside the villages. I remember people were all waking up slowly, coming out of their houses, looking out for their cows and goats, giving them food, milking them. The kids started crying. The sun was coming up. People were staring at me like, of course, the guy is going on a motorcycle with a load of things behind him. I will never forget. I was praying that I shouldn't get a puncture or a bike breakdown on the way, because even though everything appeared very beautiful, I didn't want to get stuck there. But it was beautiful. Bodh Gaya. I was in Bodh Gaya for one night because my plan was to go to Patna, but I changed my mind and I went straight to Bodh Gaya. I stayed there overnight. I felt like I was still not out of my sickness during managing the work, and but by the time I reached Bihar, my excitement started, because I knew my main goal of this ride across the nation is to reach Northeast India, the heaven. At least for me, it is heaven because of many reasons. My goal was that to reach Assam, go to Meghalaya, and that is exactly what I did. Even now I thank myself for doing it, because it took me all the way to Assam. It took me all the way to the Dibrugarh and Tinsukia, the right side edge of India, we can say. Even though I got more punctures and bike breakdowns in between once I entered Northeast India. So the story goes like, I reached Bodh Gaya, Bihar. From there, it was a hectic ride that day to Siliguri in West Bengal. Siliguri is like the neck of India. It is like the entry point to Northeast India. Siliguri is that beautiful town. For me, it is a beautiful town with borders of Bangladesh, I think Bhutan or Nepal or both. All these borders are there. I love Siliguri, man. Again, I gotta take a break now.